Hey everyone, Ryan here. In this week's episode, we talk election stress, election night, just general leftist politics, and we also talk about The Mandalorian season 2, episode 1. So there's spoilers for that. So if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to watch that before you listen to the last half of this episode. But thanks everyone for listening, and cheers. It looks like one of those one of those mics they had in like 1960s like variety shows, like the really long mic with the
Oh yeah.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a
Like
Bob Barker mic.
yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. What are you just sitting playing drums on the kitchen
Yeah,
counter?
it's just a drumstick.
Yeah,
Something to fiddle with
yeah,
while I'm on Zoom.
sure. Something to occupy your time
That's right.
while you have to be on this program. All right, this is the Illustrious Gentleman, episode 187. That's Scott. I'm Ryan. We're comic book creators. We do a podcast. All the other info you need is available at tigshow.com. I'm gonna make the intros a lot shorter now. Well, did you just flick it like you're some famous drummer?
I can't do it.
No, no, you can't. Okay, so yeah, I didn't do any research. Again, we're gonna get rid of the long intros. Just go to tigshow.com. Tells you how you can support the show, all the other good shit. But wherever you're listening to the podcast, subscribe, hit that like, smash that like button, leave a review, and if you watch it on YouTube, also subscribe and leave a review. That apparently that's what they tell you to say to do. I don't know anything about anything, and I know nothing about my beer today either. It was
Mm.
purchased. It was purchased for me by my brother at a place called the Theodore in Phoenix, which is the sister bar to the Sleepy Whale in Chandler. So it's the exact same setup: 20 to 30 beers on tap, and then a cooler of cans and bottles and sixers and
Hmm.
stuff like that. It's called the Theodore because it's on Roosevelt in Phoenix. But other than that, it's almost an exact same layout.
Why the sleepy whale then? I wonder.
In Chandler, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't it on Chandler Boulevard? So they could have called it. They could have called it the Bing,
Oh,
or
there you go. That's
yeah,
clever. That's
yeah,
yeah.
or the
Fancy dress.
Raymond, yeah, or the Raymond, or
The Raymond.
yeah, or isn't Raymond Chandler? He's an author,
Oh, sure. Yes.
right?
I was
Isn't it?
thinking everybody loves.
Oh,
We were on sitcoms.
see, that would be that would be more of a deep dive name, calling it just everybody loves dot dot dot, and then people would have to put it together. Isn't there a famous basketball player with the last name Chandler currently, or first name Chandler?
There's a Tyson Chandler. I would not
Yeah.
call him a famous basketball player.
Okay. Well, you could call it the Tyson. You could call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm reaching now. I think I hit gold on Bing, and now I'm fuxing around for no reason, which should be the name of this podcast. So, anyways, I got this at my brother bought this for me. Shout out to Stash Factory on Instagram. And so it's New Orthodox Brewing IPA, a DEPA called Boss Tweed, 9.3%, 68 IBU. It's a hazy, so I'm going to pour it into a glass to see what it looks like. But it actually has like directions on the back, like don't freak out because of the sediment. And it tells you to swirl the can a little bit to get the sediment all around.
So they have a 4.7% IPA somewhere.
They must, because their 9.3 is a double.
Yeah.
So they must have a 4 point something laying around. It has a litany of hops in it.
Oh.
It's got Magnum, Simcoe, Citra, and Mosaic.
Magma.
in the boil and then dry hopped with Simcoe, Citra, Mosaic, and Azaka.
I know this means something to somebody.
Yeah, one of you.
I mean, at some point on this comics and beer show, we got to have a beer person on.
Yeah, last year I had my friend who's a home brewer on, but maybe we should like try to get someone from a brewery that ideally will give us free beer while we talk about the beer.
Maybe we can get set up with like the Santan Master Brewer or something.
Yeah. Well, there's a lingering offer to go to where they make their spirits and talk to a whiskey guy.
I want to go to there.
Yeah, maybe we can try to double up or something. Okay, so I rolled it for even sediment distribution, and then it says pour, but leave some behind. Well, I'm sorry, but this is only a 16-ounce can. Am I only supposed to enjoy 15 ounces of it?
We're just supposed to leave the shit in there.
I get that, but they should have made it a 17-ounce can then.
And it should have a sifter. It should have like a screen just under the
Right. Cheesecloth.
Top.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep going until I start seeing the chunks, which is what my wife says. That's what my wife says every time we're about to make love.
That's how I do my Chinese buffets.
Yeah. Yeah. So I basically filled my glass. So there is still some in here. But it is, you could tell it is pretty hazy. It looks like a mango juice.
Yeah.
Nothing's floating yet. And by the way, my last joke was a joke on myself. The chunk's in my belly. Chunk, super chunk. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm drinking. This is Old Nation Brewing from William. Hang on, I saw it a minute ago.
Old Nation.
From Williamston, Michigan. So maybe they're near a res or something like that. Old Nation Brewing. Williamston, Michigan. Shout out to Michigan for doing the right thing this past week. I guess I should say shout out to Detroit. We got to stop thinking, like when states turn blue, we got to stop thinking the whole state and let's just think the urban areas.
Yeah, it's the Detroit area. There's some bit up here. Blue. I don't know what's up there.
You got to assume there's a college.
And there's a county in the UP also that's blue.
Yeah, whenever I see those blue counties pop up in a sea of red, I assume there's a college there. So, like in Georgia, another great Atlanta metro area is going to save us. All the urban votes going to save us. But if you look at the map on all the shows, they got all the blue around Atlanta, and then a red county, and then another small blue county. And I think that's where Athens is, where University of Georgia is. So that's just kind of my thought: is wherever there's a university and there's a city, but I don't even think you need a city. I think wherever there's a university,
wherever there's a place where people live with other people or are going to be educated.
Right. I saw a tweet this morning. Someone retweeted it because I don't follow any sort of right-wing people, but this guy was complaining about stopping the vote. So I guess we should say we're recording this before a call has been officially made, except I think Fox has officially made the call, ironically enough. But as we record this, we don't know 100% what's happening yet. When it comes out, we should know. So bear with us speaking in the past. Yeah. But I saw a tweet this morning that some guy tweeted out, and it was a electoral map of Nevada. And it's like, how is 2 counties turning the state blue? What's up? There's 14 red counties in there.
Right.
What's up in those? What's going on in those counties? I want to know what's going on in those counties. And it's like #stop the count. And someone replied, dirt. Like, dirt is going on in those counties.
Yeah. There ain't nothing out there.
Yeah. I've driven between Vegas and Reno before, and there ain't shit out there.
I guess this will be out on Wednesday. Yeah. So no, Monday. Okay, so Wednesday the 12th is when Nevada has to have its final reports in.
Right, but
it's the same for Pennsylvania. I don't know. I kind of want him to be an asshole at this point.
But then if they lag, then I wasted the last 2 nights glued to the TV.
I want an update every day from the state AGs. I want them to take pictures of the Trump lawsuits piling up
Right.
on the desk with a big like crying emoji above them.
Yeah, I mean, it's, by the way, who cares? I could file a lawsuit right now against anyone I wanted. It doesn't mean it's actually going to go forward.
No.
You're just filing the paperwork, just burning money. But yeah, so yeah, the last 2 nights, I mean, we've been in communication, but normally all up on the lead up to everything, I didn't watch any news because I was like, it doesn't matter, nothing matters. And then the last 2 nights, I've been glued to the TV. And I was a little stressed Monday night, but then I start to realize that I start to calm down. I do the math. I listen to my favorite liberal uncle, James Carville, talk, and I'm like, okay, you know, he's a former Marine. He's like a Southerner. He's smart. He had a bottle. I don't know if you saw him on MSNBC, but he has a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle behind him in every shot. And he says he's not going to break that out because it's like $200 an ounce or something like that. But he does.
Jesus Christ.
He says he does have a bottle of champagne he's waiting to crack, and he said it's been on his desk for the last 2 days. It's just a matter of time. But then I noticed
4 years.
I noticed after he said that, they cut to this other guy. I want to say his name's Michael Steele. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. The guy behind the guy who's that suspect Lincoln Project company. But he also had a bottle of really nice like scotch or whiskey behind him. So I could just imagine them like texting each other, like, "Oh, you're gonna put your pappy out? Because if you put your pappy out, I'll put out my whatever." It seems weird. It's all like desk items and books, and then just like a bottle of. It's almost like they're getting paid. Like James Carville must be getting like a backhand deal from
Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. But yeah, I listen to experts who know much more than us, and you know, they're in communications with people who know much more than them, and so I've kind of relaxed and stopped being a constant stress ball. But my wife is constantly like, she was like rocking herself last night when the new numbers came in from Arizona and it started to trend more towards Trump. I said, we just got to sustain. We know it's coming. We just got to sustain. And she's like, oh God, like she's freaking out and everything. But yeah, it'll blow my mind. If both Georgia and Arizona go blue, it'll blow my mind as someone who is from both places pretty much.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if Michigan was blue last cycle. I cannot recall.
I don't think so. I think Trump took all of those, but it's traditionally gone back and forth. I think. I don't think it's not like Georgia and it's not like Arizona. And yeah, I didn't vote. I didn't vote in '96. I would have been 22. No, I would have been 21. But I didn't vote in '96, so I've never voted. I've never had my candidate win in Arizona. Like I've never seen Arizona be blue since I've lived here, and I've lived here for 25 years. So it's exciting if it happens, but if it slips out of our grasp, it's understandable. Well, I guess I should say it's not understandable, but that's not surprising if it slips out of our grasp.
Yeah, I don't know. If Pennsylvania flips, it won't matter.
Right, yeah. And that's the one where everyone has such high hopes, but that's where he's furthest away. Last time I checked, as of this date recording, Thursday morning, the 5th.
Oh, it's tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it was down to like 13,000 with like 50.
Like 0.3%.
Right. Yeah, this morning he was trailing by 13,000 with like 55,000 left to go.
Yeah, I think at the moment he's further away in North Carolina, and it's the one that's sort of.
Yeah, I thought I thought they would have called North Carolina like 2 days ago. I don't see him doing that, but yeah, and like I said, according to Fox News, which gave him Arizona yesterday, they gave him Nevada this morning, which puts him at 270. But I'm waiting for all major networks because it's like ABC and NBC are kind of sticking to one path, and then like the Associated Press and Fox are on another path.
Yeah, and I mean, And they have inserted the possibility now of something horrible happening at one of these ballot offices. So that's fun. So now we get to worry about that.
Yeah, we heard. I was in downtown Phoenix last night, and we're not super close to where that elections office is, but we're probably a little over a mile from where the Trump rally kicked off last night. And yeah, it was Black Hawk Down over the apartment last night. Helicopters buzzing around. It's nuts.
Yeah, you get these fucktards showing up with their assault weapons just to peacefully protest, because
Right.
that's what you need.
Yeah. Well, how can things be peaceful if you're not strapped with an automatic weapon?
That's right.
How do they know you like
Peace is achieved at the barrel of a gun.
right, like you see somebody come strapped with hardware, like let's say you know how whenever you watch The Mandalorian and the Mandalorian walks into a bar, everyone gets scared? It's because he's in full body. Yeah. It's because he's in full body armor with wrist rockets,
right,
and a bazooka on his back.
Yeah, he looks just like the guys walking into Subway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but he just wants to make friends. He's toting around a little nugget. He just wants to make friends, but
no, he doesn't.
The optics are bad. We'll get into it later, but I liked it better when he didn't talk nearly as much, but we'll get into that in the last half of the program. It's still your election power hour talk right now. So what was your election day like? Were you, besides screaming on Twitter, were you obsessively, I had it on the news
I had it on all day.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I didn't have it on all day. Actually, election day, I sat down and I actually tuned out during the day. Like election evening is when you start paying attention.
Yeah, because there's nothing, you can't do anything till polls close.
So no, I bumped around Netflix. I put on Moneyball. You ever seen that Moneyball?
The Jonah Hill masterpiece, Moneyball? No, I haven't seen it.
Moneyball? Yeah.
I haven't seen it. What's his name? Bill Bixby? Bill Bixby?
Yeah, it was Bill Bixby.
Billy Butler? Bobby?
Yeah, no, it was the Incredible Hulk story.
Bobby Bonilla? Something like that. Brad Pitt pays a BB name.
Yeah, Billy Bean.
Yeah.
And it's a screenplay co-written by Aaron Sorkin.
So it's talky.
And this is, I can't think of another movie or another story that deserved to be told less than that. And it's not a bad movie. I mean, I think, what's his fucking face? Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is a charismatic motherfucker, and he's infinitely watchable.
Mm-hmm.
But ain't shit happens here. I don't give a goddamn about Billy Bean, and who cares about look, most people hate baseball because it's boring. And now you're going to show me the back office stuff of baseball?
Right. The most boringest thing of baseball? Yeah, it's like someone's like, oh, fuck, analytics. Let's get Brad Pitt in this analytics movie and let's just do it.
Yeah, and he just comes off as a total douchebag through the whole movie, Billy Bean.
Yeah.
And he's still there in Oakland today. This is based on the 2002 season, I think. He's still there. Still ain't won a fucking World Series.
Yeah, I'm torn
Good job,
on
nerd.
I'm torn on analytics, because we hired the Coyotes hired our last GM. Our previous GM was an analytics wonder kid. They hired a 29-year-old analytics guy as our GM, and he fucking gave away all of our first and second round picks for a guy they couldn't re-sign. So a rent-a-player lost us 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. Then we got busted for illegally scouting something. So then we lost another pick. And then the dude just bounced to take another job. He's like, I'm out of here. So I'm kind of on the anti-analytics. I want my GM to have a gut feeling, I want his gut biology, his microbes to be really in tune with the sport.
Hockey microbes.
Yeah, rather than crunching numbers on possession time and, ROI and shit. No, I want a guy with a hunch, not a guy who can crunch
like Igor
numbers. Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow. So Moneyball. No, I'll never
Yeah,
watch it. I'll never watch
yeah.
it.
I don't know. I might have to add it to the bucket of movies that I would sit down and watch if it were on TV, even though I don't particularly care for it.
Is Amy Adams the female lead in that? Who's the female
There's
lead in
no
that?
female lead.
Oh.
Who
plays
Robin Wright plays his ex-wife, but she's
Ah.
in 2 scenes maybe.
Do they have the rights to?
Chris Pratt plays Scott Hatterberg, though. He's actually on the thumbnail for the movie on Netflix, and I had forgotten he was in it, so I turned it on to see what it looked like.
Did they have players' rights? Did somebody play the Giambis? Or did none of the players? Were they all fake players?
Jeremy Giambi was featured. His brother, Jason, was never on camera. Philip Seymour Hoffman played Art Howe, the manager, who came off like an asshole too. So, and I remember at the time Art Howe being not too happy about his portrayal. That's fair.
You shouldn't be an asshole then. Like if someone portrayed me in a movie and they were eminently unlikable with tiny mouths, I can't argue about it.
Yeah, and do you really want to watch a movie with Jonah Hill where he's not like tripping over things?
I think this is the movie that didn't he win an Academy Award for that movie?
Maybe he was nominated.
Yeah.
For sitting there. It was like it was like Charlize Theron not wearing makeup in Monster, and people are going, "Oh God, she's so brave." This is the dude equivalent of that.
Yeah, put on a suit, tucked in a shirt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This was Jonah Hill not making jokes about coming everywhere, and everybody stood up and applauded.
Was there a scene where Billy Bean was just eating a shrimp cocktail during the whole season or the whole scene?
No, he does eat a lot though. That seems to be Brad Pitt's thing.
Yeah, like a snacker. He's always got a snack.
Yeah, like Ocean's 11. He's constantly eating.
Well, even in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, wasn't he snacking a lot through that movie? Yeah.
I have not seen that, but I did put on a second movie on Election Day. I put on Django Unchained, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, well, that you were trying to, if things don't go our way, it could be like a prophetic movie. We could be going back that way, depending on how this turns out. A very different film than Moneyball. Right.
Yeah. One of them's pretty funny, and one of them's not pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember. I've only seen Django Unchained maybe once, but isn't it? I think it's Kurt Russell when he slams Jennifer Jason Leigh's face into the table. Just cracks me.
No.
That
was Hateful Eight. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm confused then.
Yeah, there's a scene in that movie where he smashes the guitar. But who the fuck was playing the guitar? I cannot remember now. But he walks over and he grabs his guitar out of somebody's hands and just smashes the fuck out of it. And apparently it was like this antique, priceless guitar that somebody had lent them for the scene.
Oh,
that's funny.
Well, I doubt it's priceless.
That's Hateful Eight. That is not Django.
Okay, I guess I confused the two.
It's a great movie. I love Django. Christoph Waltz is always just perfection. Jamie Foxx was outstanding. Leonardo DiCaprio is Leo. You can take him or leave him in anything.
Yeah.
So whatever the fuck.
I'll take him.
Yeah, you'll take him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the soundtrack is just dynamite. Big recommend.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched anything. Like I was trying to do our regular think of what I've been watching for TikTok. And I didn't do anything Election Day except put on the news. But I guess I worked. So I guess I didn't get down to Phoenix until right when the first results were coming in. So I guess I did watch like podcasts and shit on Election Day. But last weekend, while all the stress was building up to Election Day, my wife and I wanted to take our minds off of it, so we just binged older episodes of Long Way Round and Long Way Down. As the new season of Long Way Up we're caught up on that. And that's just good, good fun, just uplifting fun, which is what we needed. Travel, smiles, happiness.
So what are in the writer's room? What are they bouncing around for the title of the 4th season?
I don't know, because this is I saw him on an interview. There's a show supposed to be a show on Amazon where they interview celebrities or famous people who ride motorcycles, but there's only one episode, and it's Charlie from the Long Way series. And he was saying, like, ideally they wanted to go from Los Angeles to Tierra del Fuego. He's like, but we already did Long Way Down. So they moved their entire operation. They flew everything down to Tierra del Fuego so that they could drive up, just because down had already been used. And if you listen to the theme songs of all 3, for the first 2 seasons, they just had to change down to round, or round to down. So they didn't really have to do much with the song. But now they have to make it go up. So it's like they had to rearrange some lyrics that don't make any sense. And then they rhyme up with up. The last 2 verses of the song is up and up. And so it's kind of lazy. But they did ask him if there's going to be a 4th one. And he said he doesn't know, but they're kicking around the idea of going through like Scandinavia, or going through, what else did he say? Can't remember what else he said, but like, Scandinavia, like Northern Europe or something like that. But I don't know. They're running out of directions.
Yeah.
Long way cold, long way chilly.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of a. You could ride across Australia and do like Long Way Down Under.
Yeah, they did talk about that too. Yeah. Long Way Fjord. Aren't there fjords in Scandinavia?
Yeah, it sounds like a thing. Long Way Fjord. Okay. Now,
the best part is I've decided I'm not editing these podcasts anymore. So this is the best thing. We could just say fjord 1,000 times.
Fjord.
So that's all I've been doing, is watching The Long Way and trying to get work done. But most of what I do is just doom scroll Twitter, and I'm kind of like the worst person. I leave it on MSNBC because they say what I want to hear, but it also kind of bothers me because they crack too many jokes. Like I don't like this is kind of the problem with the Democratic Party in general, is our disdain for other people. And on MSNBC, they'll straight up chuckle when somebody says something like about the Trump campaign. You'll hear like Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid like laughing off screen. And then like, it's like, let's at least try to take it seriously, because we did this 4 years ago where we thought the whole thing was a joke, and look where it got us. So let's show a little restraint this time.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what it is, though. I mean, if it's something like blatantly like ridiculous or terrible, then yeah,
right.
It deserves it.
But then the problem is you switch over to CNN and you got Rick Santorum wearing Chuck Taylors, and every time he opens his mouth, I want to slit my throat. And my wife is like, he's not cool enough to wear Chuck Taylors. Like, I don't know what he's trying to
no. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
He doesn't wear those outside the studio. That was a wardrobe choice.
Yeah, and also anyone who's worn Chuck Taylors their whole life, they're not like the comfiest shoes. So if you're going to be on your feet all day, you're not getting something with no padding and no fucking like, what do you call that thing in your foot? The not lumbar support, but
right.
You know what I'm talking about? The hump. The heel to toe hump. They don't have heel to toe hump shoes or hump padding.
Lovely left foot hump.
Yeah. Right. So you're not wearing Chuck Taylors for a 10-hour shift at Denny's. So why are you wearing Chuck Taylors on the set?
Well, he's not walking around. He just has to sit there and be the punching bag.
Yeah, and the best part is like he laughs at them. So he's trying to do what MSNBC. So they'll say something Van or Silver Fox will say something, and then he'll like make a comment and he'll chuckle to himself. Like he'll make a comment, but there's no one there to laugh with him. So he'll just he'll take a couple seconds and chuckle and smile.
He just sits there and owns those libs all night.
Right. And then he'll make a comment and then they'll immediately start speaking over him as soon as he opens his fucking mouth. So I couldn't do that.
They should do more of that stuff. I understand there's a reluctance for like, I was thinking the other day, what the fuck ever happened to Paul Ryan? He's not going to go get a job on NBC. But, I would hope that all of these networks are calling those people to say, hey, come in and be an analyst.
Well, Paul Ryan's probably too busy crushing puss and lifting weights. But also that kind of would go against their brand. They would lose their cult following if they showed up on MSNBC.
Well,
they would lose cred. That
doesn't, it's like, oh, you're putting up the good fight in the lion's den.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's not going in with them. Santorum isn't laying down. He's wrong.
No, right.
He gets talked over all the time because he deserves to.
Right.
But I commend him for being there. Maybe they're the only people that offered him a job because he is such a huge piece of shit.
Right. Yeah, they're like, we need you to come in and be the punching bag. And he's like, only if I can wear high top Chuck Taylors. And they're like, okay. And he's like, but you have to show them every time we come back from commercial, you have to pan up so you can see my Chuck Taylors.
I don't understand.
So I flip back and forth a couple times, but again, I guess we did do a long stint on ABC, just because my wife watches local ABC and then it rolls over to national.
Sure.
I just didn't change the channel.
I on CBS on election night. That's what I was tuning into. I wanted something that was as
middle of the road,
center as nonpartisan as possible.
Right.
And I think ABC, CBS is usually pretty safe for that sort of stuff if you're not listening to NPR or something.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know why. Well, and then yesterday I noticed like none of these vote totals are going to be updated for another 7-8 hours. Why am I still watching, the dude who hasn't changed his pants for 4 days on the teleprompter? Like,
you're just hoping for an Eric Trump sighting.
I'm hoping for it to end.
Yeah.
I'm the first guy to be like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not a math wizard, but it's weird when they immediately like call states as soon as polls close. And I understand there's reasons they do that, but I'm the guy that's like, let's let it breathe for a minute. Let's do some math here. But then I'm also the guy that's like, all right, how long does it take to count shit? Also, why are we opening envelopes and flattening envelopes by hand and counting things by hand in 2020?
Yeah, and these places like, I think, right, like Pennsylvania, I think places like Georgia had early vote, but they weren't allowed to start counting them until day of.
Right, because of the GOP.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess my wife was telling me that.
And part of it makes sense to me, I guess.
So what I was saying is, I guess it's weird because if you start counting them early, then there are some people that know early results. And
right, there are results to be seen.
But so you have to like sequester those people, or they have to sign like the world's most deadliest NDA, so that so that they're not saying it. But so like Arizona did that. Arizona, I guess, could start counting votes like 2 weeks ago. So that's why a lot of Arizona numbers came in on night one, and like Georgia, Pennsylvania, other states were lagging behind. But the funny thing is
does anybody even need to know? It goes into a fucking machine, and the machine knows.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Have a Twitter account.
Oh, it doesn't spit out one of those like super long receipts like in the movies. Like
there's some fucking nerd with suspenders, just like reading the tape as it comes out.
Yeah, the ticker tape. He's got a visor on with like a red tint to it and a pencil behind his ear.
Yeah, the computer that's as big as a wall.
Yeah.
all the reels are spinning on it.
Right. Yeah, I floated this idea last night to my wife. Let's see how you feel about it. What if we just did this? Because, like, let's say you're on a jury, you could possibly be sequestered in a hotel for like a week, no cell phones, no nothing. Okay. What if the election happens on November 3rd, but you're not allowed to release any results until November 10th, and then all the results come in one night and it's over? It's
Sure.
like a 4-hour extravaganza of voting. All you would need to do is sequester your ballot counters for a week.
Well, yeah, baby boy though is going to be crying all week about voter fraud and people tampering with the numbers in that week. And if nobody knows what's going on during that entire week, then that might be a problem.
I guess so, but you still have the same observers that there are now. Just have them.
Sure.
Just don't release any results for a week.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a better system is than the way it's getting done, other than
a popular vote that you can do on your phone is a better system.
Yes. Do it by internet. Just
right.
All the fucking libraries have computers you can go use.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a phone or a laptop or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right. Or go to a machine if you're going to vote the day of because you don't have
internet. Go to Fry.
Go to a machine, hit a button, and then your vote is immediately tabulated in your state.
Right. Yeah. It pricks your finger and takes your DNA sample, so it knows it's you.
Well, actually, that might work out. That might work out though, because then you get all these constitutionalists like they're not going to have my DNA, and then they just won't vote.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. Like I'm the opposite of that. I'm the opposite of like one of those people, but I am upset that when I coach youth soccer.
Yeah.
When I coach youth soccer, I had to get fingerprinted, and now my prints are in the system. Which every time I take like an illegal turn or I come to a rolling stop at a stop sign, my wife says something. I was like, well, my prints are already in the system. I'm already doomed. Like there's no getting off the grid.
Yeah, you're going to have like the ATM, the voting ATM, and they need the DNA sample to prove it, but you got to stick your dick in this rubber ass.
Or vice versa. There's a huge black dildo also that, for the fairer sex.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to do it.
But then eunuchs would be like, we can't vote.
That's true. You're gonna have to come up with something for that.
There'd be a whole coalition of people that were born without phalluses that they're like, how do we do this? Or maybe it's just
we need to workshop this.
Yeah, maybe more something that you can just like something you could just like put your mouth around and like make out with. You don't have to take your pants off.
Right. So it'll be like a mannequin Tilda Swinton head.
Right, because it works for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you can't make out with a Tilda Swinton mannequin, you're probably just completely you're just not into anything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But you know what? Then there'll be a coalition for asexuals who are like, hey, I just don't want to make out with anybody. See, the problem there's going to be problems with everything.
Jeez.
Like what about like I'm trying to think of something like free, like who doesn't like chicken wings? Like maybe a free chicken wing.
Okay.
With everybody.
Everybody likes cookie dough. So you're going to hand everybody a spoonful of cookie dough. They eat it. You swab the spoon, and it's done. So if you don't want the BBC, if you don't want the rubber asshole, if you don't want the fake Tilda Swinton head, you get cookie dough.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So I don't have to take the cookie dough option. I could take the big black dick.
Yes.
Right, okay. Because I don't like cookie dough. I was going to say I'm going to be on that coalition of dudes who will not eat raw cookie dough.
No, freedom of choice.
Okay. Well, that's what America's all about.
Right.
And that's why we do this charade every 4 years.
That's right.
So that nothing can change where we can feel good about our team winning.
Yes.
Yeah. It is a lot like sports. Like if your team wins a championship,
God,
you're super pumped because your team won the championship.
It's so bad.
But your life is not going to change because your team won the championship.
It's yeah, it really is. It's the same mentality now. It's It's exhausting and it's disgusting, and politics is just the worst thing in the world. Policy should not be subject to who yells the loudest. It should just be, you have a collection of numbers. You got to moneyball this fucking thing. You have a spreadsheet and you look at it and then you decide based on what does the most good for the greatest number of people. And that's what you go with.
You're right. So you're saying Billy Beane should run in 2024?
I'm saying Brad Pitt playing Billy Beane should run with Jonah Hill
as his VP.
Yeah.
But they have to stay in character the entire presidency.
Oh, it's fine. It's just Brad Pitt. That's what Brad Pitt does. It's just Brad Pitt. So.
Yeah, you got to think, like, if Brad Pitt throughout his career plays 50 roles, you just assume that those are the 50 of the most charismatic and adorable people on the planet, whoever he's playing.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's just a better looking Adam Sandler. Sometimes he uses a goofy voice, but he's still Adam Sandler. The kids wanted to watch a movie the other week, and my 12-year-old's like, "Oh, put on Hubie Halloween on Netflix. It's funny." What do you mean it's funny? You've seen it? Yeah, I watched it already. So we put it on for the 9 and 7-year-old, and in the first 30 seconds, there was a dick joke. Yeah, his name's what was it? Hubie Du Bois. He's doing Waterboy with a mustache.
Oh, okay. Now I'm interested.
Yeah, great. Adam Sandler's best movie was Funny People, a very underrated film. Go check that one out, folks.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore.
Oh, God. No. Oh, his early movies. But his early movies are good. Oh, oof. Jesus.
We're going to go ahead
Somebody
and
use their glass to vote.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, I liked his early goofy movies, like
get the fuck out of here.
Happy Gilmore and what's the one where he goes back to school?
That's Billy Madison.
Yeah, Billy Madison. Those are good.
Ugh. No, they're not. They're not good.
They're good for what they are. Okay, I'm done with it. Well, we'll try it. I can't believe you brought up Hubie Halloween.
But now I want to watch Funny People. Seth Rogen and who is it? Is it not Leslie Mann? Maybe it is.
I don't know. I don't have a device I can Google.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I've heard of
the plays an Adam Sandler type actor that makes stupid movies.
I've heard of the movie.
It's so good.
Is it better than 50 First Dates?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll put that on my weekend to-do list.
A list of tolerable Adam Sandler movies.
Okay.
Put 50 First Dates on there, sure. Wedding Singer, I guess.
Well, 50 First Dates gets carried a lot by the adorable Drew Barrymore, who is the definition of adorable.
These aren't Adam Sandler movies.
Right, they're movies with Adam Sandler in them.
Right, which is different.
Right.
I don't think either of those. Do either of those movies have David Spade?
I think Rob Schneider's in 50 First Dates, isn't he?
Is he? I don't remember.
Is that the one where he plays a boat captain?
Oh, maybe. That sounds like a thing. Sounds like a thing. I don't. He signed that 6-picture deal with Netflix, so
they're just churning them out.
Yeah, I never saw the other shit, that Jack and Jill or whatever, that costs $80 million, a comedy that costs $80 million to make. He makes a movie every 2 years so that Kevin Nealon could pay his rent.
Yeah, sure. I didn't see Uncut Gems. That's supposed to be amazing, but it's also supposed to be like it causes like it's like super anxious. The whole movie is like on whatever, and I'm like, I can't handle that shit.
I don't like his face.
But now that legal weed passed, maybe I can watch Uncut Gems like next March, you know.
Right.
But yeah, shout out to Arizona for passing all the progressive shit. Might get a progressive county attorney into Phoenix. It was a tie last time I looked, but it'd be nice to get a progressive county attorney into Phoenix. And yeah, legal weed. We're doing it, and I'm excited about it. Because in my head, I tell myself, "Oh, now I don't have to drink so much. I'll just pop a gummy."
Yeah, I had seen something that Gilbert wasn't or was going to shut down.
They weren't going to allow any dispensaries in Gilbert.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to go all the way to Chandler.
I don't. Is that still a thing they can do?
I don't think they can, because if it's legal, I don't know if they can legally deny a business license. But maybe cities have their own ordinances of who they're giving licenses to.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's okay. You can just go to Chandler.
It's like Mesa. There's not.
No, East Mesa's loaded.
There aren't a lot of strip clubs in Mesa.
No, but there's a ton of CBD and medical marijuana dispensaries in Mesa, and those will all sell recreational weed as well. We drove out one day. We took a drive. We just got on Apache in Tempe and just take it all the way almost to the mountain. So out past the Apache Junction and stuff. And when you get into far East Mesa, there's medical dispensaries everywhere.
I love East Mesa.
I wouldn't say love.
Oh, it's so weird.
That's the whole thing. It's hard to believe that like 20 minutes ago we were at a college campus, like a huge university campus, and now we're out in what looks like one of those like Nevada counties that's all dirt.
Yeah. There's a motel with a neon cowboy with a dirt parking lot.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
It's crazy shit.
I love East Mesa.
Any final thoughts on the election or dealing with the election or?
The Senate race is a fucking disappointment.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry. Nationally, it's not a disappointment in Arizona, except once again we had to choose from two terrible candidates, which is par for the course if you're a Democrat. But I think it went our way here. But
Arizona's got a bisexual woman and an astronaut in the Senate.
Yeah, it's cool. Awesome. Yeah, but I saw something again, and I'm totally anti like DNC leadership, and Nancy Pelosi was saying we might pick up 5 to 10 seats, and I think they lost 5 seats. So, or no, maybe they didn't lose 5 seats. Maybe they just didn't gain any. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
we lost in the House.
It says it's 48-47.
Right, but in the whichever one has the more, I can never remember the Senate or the House. Anyways, I think it's the House. In the House, we lost spots. We were up by like 12 in the House, and now we're only plus like 7. So let's get rid of old crazy people leading your party and put progressive young people to lead your fucking party.
Yeah, anybody that was in charge of anything the last 4 years has got to fucking go.
Right, on both sides. Right, agreed. Yeah, and also, I've been watching a very liberal network, and it's been crickets from the DNC leadership. They haven't been guests on the show. They're not talking about Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They're not coming out at all. Right.
They screwed the pooch on this whole thing.
Yeah, they thought they ran into, and this is what I told my wife like 6 months ago. I said the Democrats can't run a campaign just being anti-Trump. They have to put forth policies, and they ran a campaign only anti-Trump, and this is what happens.
This is the problem with knowing you're right, but also thinking that other people should know you're right too. They're not out there. You see on the maps the whole swaths of red out there, and then the little islands of blue. Those are all people that are waiting to hear some fucking common sense shit. You know, those are all people that are voting against their own interests largely.
Right.
Just go to explain to them. But, you know, I got to explain the difference between socialism and communism.
Right.
You got to go explain the universal health care thing and how much goddamn money it's going to save everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to my wife last night because I was talking about switching back to independent because I switched to Democrat to vote for Bernie in the primaries. And I was saying my political beliefs personally line up with like democratic socialists, but the problem is the word socialist. The problem in America is the word socialist. And I'm like, why not just choose a different word and avoid all this shit? Like just be the American Progressive Party or be Democratic Progressives of America or something. Why throw the word socialist in there when you know it's going to trigger half the country? And essentially that's why Biden possibly lost Florida, is because Trump ran ads in the Cuban American market saying he's a socialist, and they escaped a socialist. They got on votes to escape their version of a socialist. So it's like,
yeah, people are largely skeptical of isms.
Right. So just use different terms. And like I was telling my wife, you always hear Democrats come out and say like, this is what our party's built on. This is what we're doing. But come out and say like, yeah, we're the party that supports women's rights. That doesn't mean we love the idea of abortion. It just means that we believe that a woman should be able to choose no matter what, and we'll defend that for, you know, every day for the rest of our lives. But get down with these religious people and be like, we understand it's a very hard decision. It's a very personal decision. Sure. We understand, but like try to get them from becoming one topic voters and make them understand the bigger party. The bigger picture.
I know he was out there a lot, and I know he was a staple on Fox, but you got to get Pete Buttigieg out there in front of more people. He's like he's the fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson of progressive politics.
Right.
He really makes it understandable and less scary for people.
Right. And just like, I don't know, get the message out there that like, yeah, taxes are going to be raised, but not on you. Did you see that tweet? It was a great tweet someone sent out, and then it's been retweeted and reshared. But it was a picture of one of those popcorn ceilings in an apartment. And it said, if your ceiling looks like this, your taxes aren't going up under Biden. like explain that more. Because Biden's on record saying your taxes will go up. But before that, he said, if you make over $250,000, your taxes will go up. So why not have someone like Mayor Pete or somebody out there being
farmer ain't making $400,000 a year.
Right. Yeah, and just explain to them your taxes aren't going up, and if your taxes do go up a little, you're still making $250,000 before this. We're not taking money from you. I guess we're taking money from above that, but it's never explained. It's just he's going to raise taxes on American families. It's never going to raise my tax. If that's the threshold, my taxes will never go up.
And the healthcare thing too. If your taxes are going to go up $2,300 a year to pay for your health care, that means what? That's not even $200 a month. So
Right.
that's in place of the $800 you're spending a month right now on your family plan.
Right.
It sounds like a pretty good fucking deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at Canada. They can't
explains this.
They can't choose their doctors. Who cares? Who cares?
I can't remember my doctor's name.
Yeah. I went to a doctor. I didn't like him, so now I have to choose another doctor. It'd be easier if someone just told me, "Hey, man, you're going to go see this guy," and that's it. I want that. I don't want to have to deal with it. I want someone to email me an appointment and an address and just like go take care of it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Look, there are probably people that are doctors because they care about other people.
Mm-hmm.
They also like buying a new iPhone every 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Your doctor cares about you, like your cable guy cares about you.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Every job on the planet that is a volunteer position, they are not there for the overall need of the population. Most of them. Very few cops become cops because they want to change the world for the better. It has a pretty good pension plan. You get to boss people around and maybe break some faces every once in a while. Doctors get paid a lot of money. People take their tops off for doctors. Like, there's probably a lot of cool benefits of being a doctor. You know, lawyers get to have commercials and do like lawyer shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Don't
Whatever, man.
don't salute everybody for volunteering to do a well-paying job. You know.
There's no benefit to being red, yo.
Nope. Oh, speaking of being red, people who watch the video can see me slowly descend into a sweaty mess over the last like hour. But let's finish up. If we're finishing off the election, let's finish this podcast with something else.
Sure.
Now, two initial thoughts here.
In mic editing is flawless.
Yeah, two initial thoughts here. One, I guess we never discussed it, but I assumed we would wait and watch these at a later date. Two, I didn't realize I've been paying for Disney Plus for the last like 9 months. So, but yeah, you cheated on me and you watched Mandalorian last week, so I had to watch it this morning. But yeah, I don't think another season of Mondays with Mando is necessary. We can just incorporate it into the weekly program.
Yeah, fine.
But yeah, Mandalorian season 2, episode 1, The Marshall.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, actually, it's called Chapter 9, The Marshall.
Is it the Marshal or the Sheriff?
The Marshall.
Really?
I think so. I don't know. Why don't you keep making faces and I'll Google it. Well, we all know what both of our favorite parts of this one were, but were you excited about this?
Yoda.
Did your kids come up and say, "Dad, can we watch this?" Or did you put it on?
I put on Signs because the kids wanted to watch it again. The younger two wanted to watch it
because you wanted to watch it.
Like, but there's new Mandalorian. So I got bullied by a 12-year-old into watching Mandalorian on Friday night.
It was called The Marshall. So you got bullied into watching The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
After Signs.
I had to stop Signs and put on Mandalorian.
Okay. Were you excited? Were you excited? Did you sit crisscross applesauce on the couch and get some popcorn and a Fresca?
Fresca?
Yeah. I assume stock in Fresca is skyrocketed, so.
Right. No, I put it on and I just remember it being a show. Like, I don't remember much about season 1, probably because there wasn't much to season 1. So they did the little the
recap
thing.
Yeah.
So whatever. Yeah. So it's called The Marshall. Why is it called The Marshall?
Because Raylan Givens is in it, and he's a marshal.
Oh.
Yeah, because even in the episode, I think you're right. In the episode, I think they said he's the sheriff of this town. So why call it the marshal instead of the sheriff?
Yeah.
But anyways, it's back. I will say I'm happy that the setup season is over with. Like, at least there's a set of rules now that they can try to follow.
Sure. Look, okay. So it's a fine show. It is okay. My mom came over to walk the kids around the neighborhood for Halloween because I'm one of the terrible parents that let them do that during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And she mentioned that, oh, The Mandalorian was good because she had watched it the previous night. So we got to talking about that. So I've sort of prepared for this discussion a little bit. It is a fine show. I think in your season opener for a series, what is one of the things you think you want to accomplish?
You want to set up the season.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
and you want to bring back fan favorites like Amy Sedaris.
Yeah, that scene was
rough.
Something. It's not that I think it's a show for stupid people, but it's definitely not for me because I'm a very stable genius. It is for my 12-year-old. So because we haven't seen Mando in 11 months or whatever, we have to literally spell out to our audience that he used to hate droids. He doesn't hate droids as much now. Yeah, that scene was rough.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes here, Amy Sedaris is too much, and too much is like triple underlined. Like she seemed like she was on meth with her rapid fire delivery. Almost like they didn't write it. They didn't write her script, and they just said like, just be you. Just do what you do.
It was just a poorly constructed scene. She was in one of the later episodes, right? Like it was in the back half of the season.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it was the same episode that the Asian doctor from ER was in.
Right. Yeah. So we're not unfamiliar with her.
Right.
And we know Mando's deal. It's just this on the nose stuff. I get that for a demographic that is just watching this to see they're just watching it for this little Pokemon character. And so they may not be as sophisticated storytelling wise. This isn't Breaking Bad.
Well, obviously the show is not made for the critical eye of two professional storytellers.
No, but yeah, that scene really just poked me right in the eye, and I was happy the rest of the episode.
The problem is it's 6 minutes in, so it's like right off the bat, you're like, oh shit. Like, is this like at one point I thought like, is it going to be a comedy this season? Like, is it become like Cheers or something?
Yeah, okay. I wasn't mad the rest of the episode. This series though blows its wad in the first episode because it's for me anyway, personally, this is the height of what it can do. This is the height of what any show that isn't Justified can do.
Right. So one question, I kind of wrote my notes in order. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, and I'm sure you watched this episode multiple times, but probably only from like the 15-minute mark on. But at the beginning, when he did the Batman move with John Leguizamo, One Eye, with the gambling guy, when he fought them all and then he tied him around the pole and hung him upside down like Batman does.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah. So at one point he shoots the light out and then all these critters come out.
Right.
Did I miss a setup where they said it always has to be light out there or else critters come out? Okay.
No.
Okay. So that was a weird story.
Fine. I understood that because I could see what was happening.
I just thought it was kind of a weird thing. Like that scene would have just as much impact if he just walked away and left him there. but it's a weird thing to have. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. Yeah. So when they cast Cobb Vanth, there had to have been a discussion that they said, walk like you're in Deadwood, but talk like you're Raylan Givens, and become Cobb Vanth, because he had the same shuffle as his character in Deadwood. I guess Raylan Givens has the same shuffle too.
Yeah, that's just Tim.
Is that just how Tim walks?
Yeah.
So if I saw him walk, if
he shows up in the doorway, you're like,
it's okay. So if I was like,
mad.
if I went to like Golden Apple Comics in Hollywood and I step outside and Timothy Oliphant's walking out of a cafe, he's walking like that.
Right. Yes.
Like a runway
he's
model.
Walking with his hips. He's not walking with his legs.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I wrote that he was perfectly cast, but it also came off to me as he seemed a little silly. Like in some of the, like in the flashback where he was like walking, it seemed like he overacted a lot. And maybe that's because there's so much green screen work. Maybe he's not used to that. But in the flashback scene where he's walking through the desert because the mining company had taken over, whatever, like he's like walking like this because he's so tired. And like, I'm like, come on, dude. Like he was really working.
No, that's him.
He's really.
That's just him.
Could be his hip degeneration. But I do like the casting. I thought he was fantastic. And I do like the repurposing of the Boba Fett armor. I thought was a neat thing.
Yeah, you know it's him when he shows up in the doorway. I mean, the dude's got a torso like a fucking lizard. He's just so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the like the chest plate just looks so small on that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's like a child's bib, or like a bib you get at like a seafood restaurant. Just covers your nipples.
Yeah, but when he sat down and took the helmet off, 2020 has been a shit year, but I was so goddamn happy in that moment just to see him.
But you knew, right? Like before you even heard his voice.
He literally reappeared on that one episode of The Good Place as Raylan.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just so happy to see him.
But you knew,
and he was leaning into Raylanism hard.
But I mean, when you press play on this episode, you knew he was going to be in this episode.
I had probably seen something on Twitter. I knew he had been cast. I knew he was going to be in the season somewhere. But
so when you heard
going into it and remembering that, this is.
So when you heard his voice and he was standing in the doorway, did you squeal?
I didn't squeal, but I had a glow for the rest of the episode. Definitely have.
You're glowing right now just talking about him.
Yeah,
I've never seen you so happy.
So happy. And there was a bit where in the bar at the beginning where Mando says, to take it off, and he steps up and he puts his hand on his gun and they're staring each other down. I told my 12-year-old, Mando's gonna fucking die. This is the end of the series right here.
What if there was a huge turn, and what if he did cap Mando, but then he took up Mando's armor and then took up the mission of the child, but we just had Timothy Oliphant. Just get rid of Pedro Pascal, send that guy back.
I'm so sour on Star Wars that I would have so much emotional conflict seeing him regularly on this show.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a lot of other notes. I did write a note. You could turn this one into a drinking game, and every time Cobb Vanth brings up womp rats, you could take a shot.
Right.
You'll fucking die. I think he used them in like 3 euphemisms. Like there's no other creature on the entire planet.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.
But okay, so this is a similar episode to the forest one from season 1 with the ATST.
Yeah.
Right. So they're helping a town overcome a problem. It's fine. You've got the townsfolk, and you've got the native peoples banding together to whatever. It's fine. The conclusion is stupid and obvious, and it's the thing they should have done from the get-go. But yeah, it's just fine. The problem is you've established this thing in the first season. He's on a literal quest. He's questing.
Right. He said it 3 times.
He's exactly in the same place on his quest at the end where he was in the beginning of the episode. Nothing happened. Nothing.
Right. Like he basically said, "Give me you're not what I'm looking for. Give me the armor." And then it turned into, "I'll give you the armor if you help me." And he's like, "Deal." Like, no, take the armor and get back on your ship and get back on your quest. Right. Like, I think we're supposed to keep buying into this idea that the Mandalorian is like the good guy with no name who just travels, and he's Bill Bixby. He travels from town to town and he helps solve problems. But as he reminded us multiple times, I should say take a double shot every time Mando says quest or questing. I've been assigned a questing. That's not a thing people say.
Yeah.
No.
It's like a bad horror movie.
Yeah. It's just, again, it was so many. So last season there were 8 episodes, and I was able to show my wife 4 of them, and she got the gist of the whole season because only 4 of them dealt with the overall storyline. We start off our highly anticipated second season in a world of COVID where people are fiending for new entertainment with another kind of like non-consequential episode. Other than introducing, I'm sure Cobb Vanth will be back because he's slowly building his own like Justice League of supporting characters. So I'm sure he's going to show back up, and I'm sure there'll be a scene where Mando gives him back the armor because he's earned it. That'll happen. But other than introducing this sexy tall drink of a water, what was the point of this episode? And that was my whole big problem with the first season. What is the point of all of these episodes? And also, he says, I got to find Mandalorians who will help teach me the way to get this child home. The end of last season, you were around a shitload of Mandalorians. So I love the fact that they seem to have no communication system among the most feared warriors in the galaxy. And there also seems to be no like loyalty to each other, because it's not like they said like, hey man, I'll be here. Just meet me on this moon in 2 weeks. Like they just dispersed to the fucking galaxy, and now he has to find them.
There's a lot of logic leaps in this era of the Star Wars universe, and it doesn't make any sense. That part doesn't make any sense. The idea that nobody knows what the Force or a Jedi is doesn't make any sense.
Do we know when this is supposed to take place in the timeline?
This is 5 years after episode 6, I believe.
So it's before
5 years.
Okay, I think we talked about this last season on Mondays with Mando. It only took 5 years to forget about the Force and the Sith and the Jedi?
No. They had forgotten about it before then. It was when the Empire came to power.
Okay.
It was the 18 years between.
Okay, so let's say it's been
3 and 4.
Okay, let's give it a stretch and say
Han, who would have been alive to
right.
see Jedi, is like, I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Right, because even at that, it was 35 years between the end of episode 3 and the beginning of episode 4, or whatever it is. I mean, Luke had to be. I guess Luke was only 18, so you're right. So yeah, 18 years. 18 years ago, I was getting drunk at the same bars I'm getting drunk at now.
Yeah,
so it's not like you forget.
I was watching New Hope the other week, and the dude at the conference table seems like, nobody believes in your stupid religious superstitions, Lord Vader. And then he fucking chokes him. It's like, oh, he proved it just then. You believe in magic now, asshole?
Yeah, see, there wasn't movies. See, the way to, if you want to correct that mistake, if you're Star Wars, is you do movies that show disinformation campaigns. You know, that like, oh no, what your parents told you or what you remember from when you were little, that was all stories in the first place. And then you gaslight these dudes who like have seen Jedi in person. You gaslight them. Oh no, you just saw some dudes dressing up for like Halloween. They weren't really
Oh yeah,
wizards. They weren't wizards
yeah,
with laser swords. You
yeah.
know, they're just, you know, like,
That's right.
yeah. But
Boba Fett,
even
Sam Jackson didn't cut your dad's head off with a lightsaber.
right, but it's like acting. It's like even if you go to the new movies, which even if you go into that timeline, it's only been, let's say, 50 years. Like, I remember what a Blu-ray, I'm sorry, I remember what a laser disc is. I remember what an 8-track is. I remember I remember recording songs off a cassette. Like maybe you didn't, but I remember recording songs off the radio onto a cassette. It's not like, it's like they're asking
Yeah.
us to, it's like they're asking someone my age to forget something that happened like 5 years before I was born. Like,
Yeah. Do these people not remember that stormtroopers were,
clones.
Republic troopers?
Oh yeah.
I'm aware that the Dodgers used to play in Brooklyn.
Right.
I wasn't alive, but I know this.
Right. Yeah. I remember when the Blazers used to be called the Trail Blazers. KFC, shockingly enough, used to be called Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What?
Yeah. But we can't talk about Kentucky because a madman from Kentucky is going to control
Speaking
politics.
of the emperor, that's how I tried to describe last night what was happening to him. Like, do you know what's going on with Mitch McConnell? It's like, what do you mean? Like, his fucking hands are all falling apart and his face is melting.
Yeah, like the emperor was like a normal dude, and then when you turn to the dark side, it eats you from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the worst part about that is Mitch McConnell's going to come back in 20 years and retake his seat in the Senate.
Right. He's going to want his granddaughter to
Right.
strike him down so that he can possess her.
I
watched that one day.
He'll have to campaign with a bunch of like vials full of fluid stuck into his back and shit. So what struck me is my last note on The Mandalorian is I think part of it is an expectations problem where we assume it's going to be one of those event shows. It's going to be Fargo. It's going to be amazing television, 8 episodes of just amazing storytelling. And the first season wasn't. And for the first time, I thought there were some shaky special effects in this one, especially green screen stuff. Like he's supposed to be walking in the desert, but it doesn't look like he's walking in a desert. But then also, my last note was it seemed like a one of the lesser good episodes of Firefly. Just a way to spend an hour with like definitely budgeted. I feel like they cut the budget a lot.
It's the same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's Hearts of Gold. The crew going to help the whorehouse fend off the bad guy. It is not sophisticated storytelling. The other week I went back and I started X-Files over from the beginning. Ooh. And this feels a lot like X-Files, early X-Files.
First season of the X-Files is a little rough.
There's 2 or 3 monster of the week episodes, and then they'll get back to Mulder's sister and the cover-up. And then it'll be more mystery stuff where they're going to Colorado to walk through the woods.
That can work when you have 22 hours of television in a season. You can take those side detours and still tell your season-long story. I don't think it works in 8 hours of television when you don't advance. Again, you're not advancing the story at all.
Yeah, that's the problem. You could do this, but you have to
get rid of the... Right.
He has to be a step further along on the road at the end of the episode.
Right.
And he's not.
That's why this season would have been better. Instead of giving him a mandate of getting the child home, just have him being chased by the bad guys And then so it makes sense that every week you're in a different location. Every week you're caught up in a new situation because you're just always on the run. But to have the goal be to go somewhere, and then it's like a choose your own adventure book. Like, oh, let's go here so that we can go all the way back.
Yeah.
Like he even said it. I've been to Tatooine a lot. I've already been there. So let's fucking go back there again.
Like we mentioned last season, you have, at the beginning of the season, you had Werner Herzog. And at the end, you've got
Giancarlo Esposito.
Right.
Gus Fring.
So you have to use him. The series is missing the piano hanging by a wire over everything. Show us what Gus is up to. Show the machinations, what he's planning. We need to have, it's that dramatic tension. We need to have information that Mando doesn't have. We need to know he's in danger even though he doesn't, so we can worry about him.
Right. And then it's
an easy thing to fix.
And at the end, we get the teaser of Boba Fett, but
I guess
the only thing I can imagine is he was going after his armor, but now his armor is with Mando. So now
you think that's Fett?
Well, it's the same actor.
Right, but he was also the model for all of the stormtroopers.
Right, so I guess he could just be a regular stormtrooper.
That's what my hope is.
Yeah, I don't.
He's like, oh, dude, I know what Jedi are.
Right.
I can help you out.
Yeah, but also, I don't care. Why not cut to the Asian doctor from ER in that last scene? Because we last saw her on Tatooine. Why not cut to her watch the Mando go away and like, oh, I'm gonna get that dude? Or why not cut to, Gus Fring with his black laser blade thing at that last? Why? I guess at this point, if you're not moving the story forward and you're not answering questions that you've posed, why introduce yet another mystery guy into this scenario? Let's wrap some shit up. Let's move along. Lost its way when it stopped answering questions.
I'm not totally opposed to that. It's by definition, it's not a cliffhanger ending.
Right.
But it accomplishes the same sort of ... thing. But just move him. Just have something happen. Just please.
Right. Like you could have rearranged that episode to where have him start in Tatooine. Maybe the Razor Crest needs work, so he lands there. He hears rumors about a dude who has Mandalorian armor. He goes and does that whole storyline. And then at the end, someone tells him about the gangster on the other planet that can tell him where the Mandalorians have gone off to. And then you end it with him getting the info out of him. So at least you leave on the end of him going like, oh, now I got to go here to another planet because now I have new information.
Yeah. Yes. And I got to say is just not disappointed. As disinterested as I was in season 1, I'm less interested in season 2 because of the Jedi element. I think they're the worst thing about Star Wars. And the best thing about season 1 is that it wasn't the Empire and the Rebellion. It wasn't the same garbage we've seen 1,000 times. But now they're making it the same garbage we've seen 1,000 times. I don't need a lightsaber. I just don't. So him actively looking for the Jedi just makes me groan.
Wasn't he actively looking for the Yoda race? He's not actively looking for a Jedi.
I don't know. You could I could make the argument for their kind being the Jedi Order.
But also at this point, we know that at this point, if it's only 5 years after Return. Oh wait, never mind. My math is wrong. Ben Kenobi's dead. I was gonna be like,
and when there's like not many Force users, don't all the other ones feel the disturbance in the Force or whatever?
Right. Like, shouldn't
Like,
Luke on his
Darth Maul is still out there, right?
Is he?
Maybe. I mean, he's survived. He's got his robot legs.
But we don't know. That was set long before the first.
That was set before 4.
Right. So we don't know what's happened there.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you would think like Luke Skywalker would be sitting there meditating, crying on his fucking island, and he'd be like, "There's a baby Yoda out there, like lifting mammals around."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's doing his academy right now, right? Like Ben Solo is still a kid.
Oh yeah.
If he's even born yet, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, who knows how quickly they got busy. But probably quickly. I mean, like they said in Speed, like an intense physical thing draws you together.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And Han's the kind of guy that's like, yeah, I got protection.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's like, I'm going to wear my medal while we do this, if that's cool. It's going to hit you. It's going to hit you in the face, but I'm not going to take it off because everyone knows I'm a scoundrel who's now a hero. Which is exactly what the Mandalorian is becoming, the good guy. Because remember at the beginning of the first couple episodes of the first season, he was such a badass, the Mandalorian, that he didn't care about anybody. He was going to sell the kid. And now he just, at the first time someone's like, hey man, can you just help me with this problem? He's like, of course I can. Like,
he's a good guy with a gun.
Yeah. Better than a bad guy winning an election. Which I think is going to happen either way. All right. Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, we've been talking a long time.
Yeah, we have. It's going to be as they say, it's going to be a long one. All right, my Boss Tweed Deepa, Hazy Deepa, which I did not finish because it's too hazy. Yeah, like look at that. I don't know if you can really see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
It looks a lot darker on my end. It's okay. It's fine. I'm glad the cold weather's coming here. I really need to make a conscious effort to get back on stouts and porters over the winter. I'm IPA'd out. They all taste the same. I'll give it a 3.5. All right, man. Well, I guess we know what half of our show is going to be for the next 8 or 7 weeks. So that's good. Less planning. More bitching. Was there any rumors you heard about this season that you were looking forward to other than
just that one? I don't know anything else about it. What's her fucking face? It's supposed to be on.
Asana Toko? It's Asana.
The chick with the head things.
Oksana Bayul.
Oksana Bayul.
Yes. Yeah, Rosario Dawson playing Tentacle Head Girl. Did you ever see?
It's gonna be a new category on Pornhub.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Sure.
Did you ever watch? Of course, you've watched The Fifth Element.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So obviously, it's like the opera singer is the same race as Oksana Bayul, right? Like they're.
No, she only had the one.
She only had the one, though, right? Yeah. Yeah, and Oksana Bayul has like 3 or 4.
2.
Oh, well, maybe as she ages, it'll merge into one, and then she'll be the opera singer.
No, she's a Twi'lek.
Okay.
So then not.
I don't know what a Twi'lek is.
It's the two thing.
Okay.
Double snakehead thing. There were a couple of them last season, right? There was a brother and sister on the Bill Burr episode.
Oh, that's right. That's on the Bill Burr episode. You're right. Yeah. The Bobby Elvis episode. That same episode had the guy who played Bobby Elvis on Sons of Anarchy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he had no qualms about murdering all those dudes on that ship. But now he's gonna like gleefully help out a cop, a narc. Yeah, how can I help you, narc? Oh, by the way, I kidnapped this child, but we're cool with that, right? Okay, we're done. I'm done. Scott.
Yeah.
Send us to our miserable end.
Fuck you, me.
Fuck off, you.